You guys, Charlie's giving me a ride to the airport.
Very important role.
Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't for Charlie, we definitely wouldn't be here. I'm going to change the world.
Turn off the signal sign. Be careful with overhead weights as I
don't know if it could be more beautiful. What do you think? We're going to the bus stop where I can catch a bus to get to Sene's house, and we're running for the border, which is actually 4 to 5 to 6 hours across the country. So the traffic got nutty, so PGA told me to get the heck out. I'm gonna walk the last 500 meters on my own. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, and hopefully the bus is still available. We'll get there. The guaguas are still here. See if we can catch one. That wasn't it. It's starting to sprinkle a little bit. Got the hair salon over there. Get your clothes button right there. Para no ver. ¿Cuándo eso sale? Este guagua si sale a qué hora? 6:30. 6:20. Qué bueno. Another 5 minutes, we're out of here. And I just barely made it. Okay, it's like a Dominican Christmas. We're at the Cusco Co-op. And our bus is stopped so we can get a little shopping. Cakes. That's what I'm gonna get. Meatballs are pretty good. Got our own liquor cabinet. Some sweets. 9 yards. Alright, there goes the bus. And here's the park, the city center. And my saving grace. Just over in Sene. Church, and my homies leftovers. They got that little spot, and so I made it. It's 9:30 in Utah on Saturday, so it's 12:30 Sunday morning here in the Dominican Republic. Hopefully we'll kill some lights and get the hay and wake up the church in the morning. This is just over there. Taking a cruise in to refugee squatting camp, where the Haitians are enduring some very difficult conditions just to make a living. The company that they're working for is requiring them to be there, every day. They can't be gone any longer than 2, sometimes 3 days. But when they're gone after that period of time, then they come in, they take their house apart and take everything that they have that they've put into their houses that they have, and then no longer let them work there. So the Haitians essentially are they're being forced to work and live in this condition. They're too far away from their home back in Haiti to commute, and they're here illegally, so they can't raise a fuss. So they're truly in a forced labor situation, and they've chosen to be here, but now this way of life has become so necessary that they don't have any other way to live.
On est content pour gagner un nouveau petit avec moi.
Avec qui est-ce?
Avec moi-même.
Ah,
On est content.
oui.
Yeah. Vous aimez l'eau enceinte?
Je ne vais pas me faire, mais si problème là vient arriver, je ne vais pas faire.
This little gal, she is getting weaned off of being breastfed because her mother doesn't believe that breastfeeding is important any longer. These two girls are sisters over here. One is 16, one is 18, and they both have a child, and they're just targets in this neighborhood. They are ready to be taken advantage of because they're able to have sex. From the refugee camp back to the church, we were able to meet with a youth group that we've formed here in Puerto Escondido. It's a group of about 18 kids that have decided that they're going to live their lives in a better way. And in developing their motto and addressing their own view on the social problems that are there, they've created a motto that says, "We will not get pregnant or get anyone else pregnant until we are ready to be married as a husband and wife and have kids and a family." Asking them how they came in on this motto, they said, "We see the default around us. We see so many people illiterate, so many people without food, so many people without any access to legal status in the country or health care." And they said, we're just not going to do that. We're not going to do that to our kids that are going forward. We see so many people suffering, and we're going to do what we can to change that. And we're going to do it by living this principle. So this group gets together, they have a lot of fun, and they even put together a evening soiree for the neighbors so they could come in and see some singing and some dancing. So it's a really fun thing that we've been able to do with Abolish Child Trafficking.
We've got a few things we got to do today, so it's super important. We got to get down to Ibrahim, get some of our construction supplies. We've got a moment we're going to hopefully get to speak with Alfonso today, talk to him about what it is that we're missing as far as the paperwork goes, and the people that are living in Union. All right, so just a little slight 3-hour hang up. We went through the intersection where they have the military checkpoint. My passport ended up having a problem. They couldn't find the right stamp, and by the time I got around to showing them where it was, they wouldn't let me hold the passport, and they essentially deported me with a truck full of Haitians. One of the things that makes it hard to be honest is when there's all sorts of corruption at every level. So as we're going along the military checkpoints between the border city and where we had left in Duvergé, Haitians aren't legal here. I mean, they know it. They need your document, need your document. They're like, here's my document, here's my 50 pesos, 100 pesos, whatever it is.
After messing around at the border, getting a ride back, we finally got all of our construction materials ordered. We got over to the market, and now it's time for me to get back to Haiti, get to see what's up with Simeon, so I'm excited for that.
All right, we're heading up into the hill. Just over there, got a little gun shy to hit the gas. I'm holding on to him by his tummy. This road is not a simple one. So the truth of it is, I should be driving the motorcycle because every time we get to a rough spot in the road, the passenger has to get off and walk. And I get to carry the backpack, so it seems like I got a double duty, stinky deal. The real bummer is we gotta walk because the tire popped. That's no fun. And we're gonna have to try to find somebody that can fix this tire so that Gisove doesn't have to walk all the way home. Poor thing.
If you look up not having fun in the dictionary, this is what's there.
Yeah. Glory, hallelujah. Making it to the halfway. I think that tube is going to be shot. What do you think? You ever wonder if Haitians can do it? That undying spirit. Undying. The motorcycle repair shop is always the last place you look to get your tire fixed. So this one's a little bit off the path, but we're happy. Yeah, so this good brother is gonna vulcanize the rubber on this tire right now, which is fascinating in itself. But to see that it's in the middle of, I don't know, Timbuktu, we are nowhere.
Well, the tube is destroyed and there's no possible way for us to get one, so I had to call in for the backups. The cavalry came, Simeon came and got me. These are his brothers and his dad. We got just over staying with a mechanic, and we'll be back at it in the morning.
One thing I forgot to mention, when you have a long day like this, it's good to come home to these. And anyone want to put an idea of what the name of this baby wipe is? It's Bebe Cheetos, I think is what it's called. Baby Cheetos. Can't have enough of those on a day like today.
Early the next morning, we popped up and made sure that Josover got his new tire or new tube in, and it was so fascinating to sit and listen to these three men talk about how it was a grace from God that they were able to get as far as they did, is that they were able to do the work that they could do, and even this extra inner tube was going to be able to tie down their provisions on their motorcycles. They were just so grateful that God was so good to them. All things a blessing. So the early bird gets the worm, and now that we've got the tire changed, we're on our way to the community finance meeting. And there's going to be 3 back-to-back, so it's going to be a busy morning.
All right, so we're at the community finance meeting where there's been this collaboration, this kind of kickoff of a co-op banking. Essentially, it's like a credit union that the community's creating for themselves, and it's very primitive level, right? They're starting with like 90 cents each. Each one of them is coming up with 90 cents and creating a loaning model for each other. And it's actually grown into quite some deal. But I'm looking at their documentation here, and I'm not necessarily want to reveal everyone's names, but I would say that they're being very careful, right? They're keeping attendance and they're holding each other accountable. This is a good step. I mean, as I'm reviewing the way things are developing here, this is something that's been absent for a long time. I love that this lady's putting on a tablecloth. Don't ask me why, but I think it's cool. And then we just pulled this box out of that bag down there. So the bag is a pretty good hider, but if you're coming from this meeting and you got that bag, you know that you also have the lockbox. So what I'm seeing is this community is making everyone really diligent with their money, you know, and they're holding each other accountable, not necessarily on purpose. You know, they're kind of doing it, and it's like everyone's watching, so I need to be really careful, and so when they go have money, free money in their pocket or whatever, they're just kind of like, if I spend this, then everyone at the 24 other people in our group are going to have like a real problem with me not being able to pay my weekly dues, and so I got to make sure that I really control my spending. So it's a good peer pressure, but it's a peer pressure, and this is their second go round. So this meeting that they're starting today, this one that they're going on right now, is the very first meeting that's going to end next December. So. All right, so I just got done talking to Simeon, and here we're in the marketplace. We have the opportunity to get a little bit of a deal on our cement. If we go and buy it all the way down in Croix-de-Bouquet, But if we buy the cement outside of our community as we're walking and talking, I'm thinking, you know, we want to support the people that are here doing this business. I mean, they're putting their lives on the line, and they're trying to bless the lives of every other person that's here. So if we can keep the money in the community is kind of a concept. And he's like, you know what, let's do that. And we just saw, you know, some girls that were, they're making their own sweets. They have like some coconut and some sugar, and they make all molasses out of it. And I said, you know, the guy that, if we buy the cement from him, he's going to have like a few extra bucks in his pocket, and you know, with that, he's going to maybe go buy a little bit of candy from this girl. And then that girl's going to have that money that she made from doing her candy. She'll be able to spend it here. So that's kind of a fun concept that we're going to try out and see if we can continue to grow this community together as we trust each other to take care of each other. And that I think is going to be a big step in this process. So
I immediately set the example and bought myself some lunch to keep some money there in the community from the oldest restaurant that's there in the market. So now we're going to go take a peek at Road Project.
The Road Project is going to be a little bit different than what we originally anticipated. So what we were going to do is create a small path, right? Something like that we're riding on right now. And it's kind of hitting the community. We put it in front of the community magistrate, and then also Simeon is the elected coordinator of activities for the area. They just said, you know, this is probably going to come out like we're favoring just the motorcyclists and that everyone can benefit. So what they're going to try to do is raise another 75 sacks of cement and a couple of bags of sand that they don't have now. So, you want this on? No, so they're going to make it into a project over a really bad section of road, not like an easy section like this. They're put it over a really bad section of road where they can get dump trucks and everything up it. So they're going to, I guess what we're coming to realize is that people are willing to sacrifice and make it and make their community better. And this is going to be the proof in the pudding right now. We're not totally sure exactly if that's something that can happen, but we're hoping that it is. So our 15 sacks will be multiplied into 100, and the one truck of sand is going to be turned into 3, and we're going to put together a section of road where there's two paths for each tire that are going to be roughly 30 to 36 inches in width instead of 18, and it's going to hopefully be a whole lot deeper. This project is probably going to be put together in January instead of December, but it's the community coming together, and they're all going to be there to carry water, move sand, you know, move the pickaxes, and we're going to enlist help of local actual cement guys. They're going to volunteer their work. Motorcycle drivers volunteering a bag of cement each. The dump truck drivers volunteering some money to pay for those extra costs, and then hopefully they're going to get donated. So, well, not hopefully, they're just going to get donated, and they're going to get donated from where it needs to be donated from. So I love it that people are willing to help. You can't just keep dumping money in from the outside. The people that are here have to take value for themselves. They have to say, this is what's important to me. It's important enough for me to dedicate myself to it, and you know, because it's for my kids, it's for my family, it's for my betterment. So that's the real value of what's happening today.
So we settled most of the details for how we're going to progress with the road project, and as always, there's a little bit of time for afternoon fun before heading back into the Dominican Republic. We have one last dance party with Simeon and his kids, and I'm looking forward to being back at Sunny's house.
As Haiti is counted the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, it's most poor in its education. So these men that have been here in this field working this morning, not a single one of them knows how to write their own name. Not a single one of them knows how to read one word. All right, we're in a spot where they don't have input from the outside world. The only thing they believe is the propaganda that comes across on the radio. And so if someone comes up to them and says, hey, what I need from you
is a couple of kids so that I can use them over in the Dominican Republic to do laundry and to start fires and go after water. They're like, I know kids that do laundry, start fires, and go after water here. And the guy says, oh, and by the way, I'll give you 20 bucks. Well, these guys are getting $2 for working. They're getting less than $2 for working all day. They're going to be here starting this morning before sunrise, and then they're going to work all the way until the sun goes down for $2. But if I can get $20 for $20 a kid, wait, hold on. I can get 10 days worth of work by just walking 2 kids to you tonight. Yeah, I'll do that. Or 1 kid to you. If I bring you 2 kids, I'll get 20 days. I get a month's worth of work. Taking 2 kids from here and taking them over there, I can do that. Because there's no perception. There's no concept of world. There's no concept of right. It's just as you have to do. No matter what happens to whoever, I got to have it now. I got to have it today. When you have that as your understanding, then trafficking is a natural. There's no sense in stopping trafficking because it just gives me what I want. I need money. And I can get money by taking a couple of kids across the border. And all I have to do is trick them into it. There's kids that are just the same as them that have not had any education. It's like, hey, you know what we can do? We can walk across the border. I'm gonna give you a job working washing clothes. And the 14-year-old girl says, I work, I do clothes here, but I don't get any money for it. So why not? That change has to come from the inside. And the only way we can do that is through education. And how do we educate them? Well, we don't. We allow the Haitians to educate them. So we find the ones that see that there's a disjunct. That we find the ones that can say, okay, this is wrong. The way that this girl has been treated, the way that that girl got hauled across the border, the way that's wrong. And we're not going to do that anymore. We don't do that because on my watch and my understanding, that's a mistreatment of that kid. And they can see that. There are some here, and so what we do is we champion those that are in place, and we continue to allow them to do their work, and we help them in their projects so that they can be successful in one thing and step on to the next thing and be successful. So this is a really great opportunity, and this is my dream. This isn't necessarily something that I can force on anyone else, but paying attention to this and honoring it, letting other people in on it, and people that have a heart for it, come and join us. I'd bring anybody here. I'd let you come see and feel and be. How do we educate our people so that they can live better lives?
On my way to the next exciting adventure. I've never felt so good to kind of be back at Sene's place. It feels good. I don't know, there's a little tension brewing on the border. So right now I'm going to Alfonso's house. Okay, it's only 10:30 at night, and we have all of tomorrow, and all of our lag bolts are set, all of our wood is cut. All we gotta do is just put on the top plate, frame that roof, which is already cut. Oh man, easiest thing in the world. And then roof it. I mean, we put that roof on, that'll take no time at all. Yeah, perfect. Check us out. Okay, I'm hitting the road. We got to the bus station on time for once.
The part I love the best is I got to the bath. I went to the river. I got my hair washed. Whew, it was a mess, you guys. It was like one piece. I move it like this, and the whole thing just This field of plantains for, I don't know, 15 minutes. It's just plantains after plantains after plantains.
I fell asleep, and we're in Cruces de Acoa. We're almost to the airport. This is the last stop. I'm getting my cheese. And then, when I mean cheese, I mean getting cheese. I'm gonna get some deep fried cheese. On our way to
into the capital here, and it's pouring down rain. This will make it real nice to get a motorcycle when I get off the bus. I can hardly wait. I'm thinking about what kind of plastic bags I have.
I'll guarantee you I'm no worse for the wear, but we made it to the bus stop. Hallelujah. If you've never been to the Colonial District in the capital of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, it really is worth a trip. This is kind of where Christopher Columbus's brother set up camp, and this is, I mean, it's got a ton of firsts, like the first road, the first cathedral. The buildings are all set up crazy, made out of, like, cut out of coral. It's fascinating. I mean, for instance, this is like coral that was cut, I don't know, 400 years ago. So there's some pretty wild stuff going on here. Interesting. I think you can catch some of this karaoke going on in the middle of the road. That's a good one. Always fun.
Like, for instance, there's the first cathedral in the Americas. Christopher Columbus's remains went through there and hung out for a little while before they got sent him off to Spain or wherever he is. I think there's still a dispute as to where he is.
If it appears to you that it looks like I've been up longer than normal humans stay up, my first flight got canceled, so I got pushed to a 4-o'clock flight, and when I turn around in JFK, it is about 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I got here with 18 minutes to go through customs and get to this thing. You go through security. I had to cut the line, ask people if I could, and they let me, and they just closed the door right behind us. It hasn't felt this good to be home in a long time. It's gonna be Christmas. I forget all about it. So, just as it started, we're back. We had a great week. Ton of work went down. I'm really excited about the loaning process that's going to double and possibly and eventually quadruple and 10 times in size. There's so many people out there that are benefiting from this, and the part that they don't know is the community is the part that's benefiting from it. As that community grows unified together, they are counting on each other, and they're reducing the way that this child trafficking has been going on. Thanks for following along, and look forward to seeing you next month. I won't deny it. I think I'm the leader of the pack. Hee hee.